On the day when I was dying, my husband was introducing his beloved lover to everyone. When I woke up, my personal maid was crying and begging me to divorce him. I sneered. What's the point of divorcing a husband? Widowhood is far more interesting. Ding! This novel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. When I woke up, I was lying on a carved bed. The air was filled with the smell of medicine. A girl dressed as a maid was kneeling by my bed, crying bitterly. The noise gave me a headache, so I hoarsely told her to shut up. Then waved for the imperial physician to come over. Princess, your pulse was just on the verge of extinguishing. But now that you've expelled that mouthful of clotted blood, you seem to have improved somewhat. I know. I have come to this realm. The Grand Princess Jiang Susu, who was in love with the heir of Marquis Fong Yijing. Fong Yijing married Jiang Susu for power but was unwilling to give his heart. Even feeling that he had compromised and sacrificed himself. Blaming everything on Jiang Susu. Fong Yijing's family lived off Jiang Susu, residing in the princess's estate. Yet constantly humiliated her, even frequenting brothels, making her a laughingstock in the capital. Under his persecution, Jiang Susu lost 2 children and could only watch helplessly as he tangled with his childhood sweetheart. Finally, on the day Fong Yijing brought his sweetheart back to the princess's estate, Jiang Susu died coughing up blood. Today is the day Jiang Susu died. After her death, her soul entered the underworld, where she met me. Upon learning she had the chance for revenge, she exhausted her lifetime's worth of merit, pleading with me to help her avenge. So, I came. I went through Jiang Susu's memories in my mind, handed my arm to the maid beside me. And the bracelet hidden under my sleeve gleamed with green light. Shizhu, help me change clothes. When Shizhu supported me into the front hall, the air fell silent for a moment. Fong Yijing frowned as soon as he saw me, speaking with disgust. What are you doing here? I glanced at him indifferently, raised my hand, and slapped him across the face. Did I give you too much face, making you forget this is the princess's estate? Not your rundown Marquis Fong estate? Fong Yijing looked incredulous. You dare hit me? Why wouldn't I dare? I glanced at the specks of blood on my finger guard. If I want to hit you, I'll hit you. Do I need to choose a day for it? Let alone hitting you, what if I kill you? Jiang Susu's emperor brother had often wanted to punish Fong Yijing for her sake. But every time, Jiang Susu stopped him. The emperor was angry at his beloved sister's lack of resolve. So he no longer intervened in her affairs with Fong Yijing. Jiang Susu did this because she loved him. But I have not cultivated such a saintly heart. I snapped my fingers, and 2 black-clad guards descended, kicking Fong Yijing in the leg and pressing him to kneel before me. These secret guards were trained by me from a young age. Unmatched in the 6 realms, how could a mere mortal like Fong Yijing escape? Do you know where you're standing? I backhanded him, turning his face away. This face, it truly disgusts me. This entire dynasty belongs to the Jiang family. I, the Grand Princess Susu, kill a mere heir of a rundown marquis. Can my emperor brother really punish me? Fong Yijing clutched his face in disbelief. Jiang Susu had always been gentle and considerate before him, he had never seen her so assertive. He was so angry he couldn't speak. Don't die here, heir, dirtying my princess's estate with bad luck. I lifted my eyelids, wondering what Jiang Susu saw in this pretty face. At this moment, the woman who had been standing beside Fong Yijing suddenly knelt down with a thud. Your Highness, please don't be angry, don't treat Yijing brother like this. It's all Menglan's fault, Menglan will go where Menglan should go. Dressed in simple clothes, with a delicate and pitiful appearance, she evoked sympathy from the surrounding men. Zhao Menglan, Fong Yijing's childhood sweetheart, once the daughter of the Minister of Rights. Shortly after Jiang Susu's death, Fong Yijing took her in and married her into my household. Today's banquet is for Fong Yijing to introduce Zhao Menglan as his sworn sister to everyone. I adjusted my dress and turned to sit at the head of the table. Isn't the place Miss Zhao should go the whorehouse? Zhao Changming committed treason, and his male family members were exiled to the border, while the women were sent to the whorehouse as slaves. I have not heard of any imperial pardon from my brother, the emperor. Miss Zhao appearing here today, could it be that she is an escaped slave? Zhao Menglan trembled, and before she could speak, Fong Yijing became anxious. You mustn't say that about Menglan. Menglan is my sworn sister, not an escaped slave. Annoying. I gave a slight nod, signaling one of Fang Yijing's secret guards to step forward. He delivered 2 sharp slaps to his face, then grabbed a nearby cloth and stuffed it into his mouth. Seeing Fang Yijing unable to speak for her, Zhao Menglan spoke with grievance. I'm not an escaped slave, I was redeemed. Yijing and I are just sworn siblings. Can your highness not tolerate me? Not only can I not tolerate her, I wish she and Fang Yijing would die together. In front of me, who allows you to speak so casually? Someone, slap her. Shizhu stepped forward, swung her arm, and delivered several slaps. After several slaps, Zhao Menglan lay on the ground, her cheek swollen, in a sorry state. I leisurely touched the jade bracelet on my wrist, my tone cold. I have never heard of a female slave from the whorehouse having the chance to be redeemed. Investigate who is defying orders. The descendants of traitors, perfectly intact, entering the princess's mansion. Could it be that one day these people will stand with knives by the emperor's bed, claiming to be redeemed too? Among the crowd, several people's faces changed, and they knelt down and crawled towards me. Your Highness, forgive us. It was Fang Yijing who said Your Highness couldn't bear to see an old friend humiliated. So he asked us to redeem Zhao Menglan and save her. Fang Yijing's face was flushed, but he was held by the secret guards and couldn't speak. I chuckled lightly, falsely passing my decree. You really are seeking death. In that case, I'll fulfill your wish. Someone, drag Fang Yijing and Zhao Menglan out and give them 50 lashes, right here. Zhao Menglan didn't have time to plead before her mouth was stuffed. And she was dragged out along with Fang Yijing. In the sunlight, the two were pressed onto chairs, unable to make a sound of begging. Only the thud-thud of the lashes was particularly clear. I casually sipped tea. Today's guests were all trembling, afraid to displease me. Before 50 lashes were completed, both had already fainted, and I waved to have them finish. Zhao Menglan was sent to prison like a rag, unable to escape the crime of being an escaped slave. Fang Yijing, like a piece of pork, was thrown back to Marquis Fang's residence by my people. I smiled slightly at the silent crowd. Everyone, family shame, please forgive. The surrounding people forced a smile, cursing Fang Yijing as they left, wondering what kind of mess he had gotten into. I glanced at Fang Yijing's friend still kneeling on the ground, my tone gentle. If you care so much for Miss Zhao, when she comes out of prison, you can visit her at the whorehouse. Their faces turned pale, and the sound of begging for mercy rose one after another. Under the wide sleeves, a touch of jade green drifted out, slowly blown away by the wind. The next day, I heard that the officials who begged for mercy at my feet yesterday had all been stripped of their positions, and even their fathers and brothers were demoted. I thought for a moment and asked Shizhu to fetch 2 rare medicinal herbs from my treasury. With the gift in hand, I grandly entered the palace. On the way, I heard many people discussing yesterday's events. I heard that the heir of the Fang family actually brought his mistress to the princess's residence yesterday, and even held a banquet for her. What mistress? That was the former Miss Zhao, the one whose father was accused of treason. I heard that it was the heir of the Fang family who falsely claimed the princess's orders to bring her out. The Grand Princess was furious yesterday and ordered a thorough investigation. I smiled slightly, not regretting my actions in front of so many people yesterday. Scholars value their reputation most, and Fang Yijing is no exception. Living off others? Well, I'll ruin it for you. At the entrance to the imperial study, I glanced around. Jiang Susu hadn't entered the palace for a long time before her death. For that scoundrel Fang Yijing, she even stopped seeing her brother, who loved her dearly since childhood. I think this is what Jiang Susu regretted most after her death. The last time Jiang Susu parted unhappily with him was because the emperor couldn't stand how Fang Yijing treated Jiang Susu and wanted to kill him. But Jiang Susu said that even if she died, the emperor must not harm Fang Yijing. That statement completely broke the emperor's heart. Yet even so, the emperor honored her request after Jiang Susu's death. Even though he was furious, he merely demoted Fang Yijing and didn't employ him, sparing his life. But Fang Yijing thought the emperor cut off his career for Jiang Susu and conspired with others to rebel. Although he didn't succeed. A waste is a waste wherever he goes. He won't turn into gold just because someone says he's golden. Your Highness, His Majesty invites you in. The bracelet on my wrist suddenly felt scorching hot. I nodded to Eunuch Imo and handed him the medicinal herbs. I heard my brother hasn't been resting well lately, so I brought some herbs. Please find a physician to see if they can be used. Eunuch Imo smiled as he accepted them, but when he saw what they were, he looked up sharply. Isn't this from Fong? I smiled and nodded. Eunuch Imo paused, then resumed his smile. I understand. I slowly walked inside. The person was reviewing documents, not even lifting his head, as if he hadn't heard my footsteps. I pressed my lips together. Brother, I've come to see you. After a long time, the emperor snorted coldly and lifted his face from the documents. Didn't you say last time that if I dared to touch Fong Yijing, you would never enter the palace again? So what's changed now? Yesterday you punished him, and today you enter the palace. Have you finally come to your senses? Indeed, Jiang Susu has come to her senses, but only after her death. I discreetly pushed the bracelet into my sleeve, hiding its unusual green color. I've come to my senses. I won't be foolish anymore. The emperor looked at me for a long time. Susu, don't lie to me. You're my only family, and I don't want to become estranged from you over outsiders. Jiang Susu and Jiang Yang were siblings born to the same mother. Growing up together in the secluded alleys, relying on each other. After Jiang Yang became emperor, he cherished this sister the most. I stepped forward and tugged at his sleeve. Really, brother, I will never hurt your heart because of Fong Yijing again. In the past, let's just say I was bewitched. The emperor finally showed a hint of a smile, which quickly faded. You should know that the consort cannot hold office. It was only because you pleaded that I made an exception for him. But in truth, Fong Yijing's ability is far from matching the rank of a 5th-grade official. Now that you're tired of him, I'll issue an edict to divorce him. And he won't need to hold the 5th-grade official position anymore. How about that? I pondered for a moment and shook my head, noticing the emperor's face darkening again. It's not that I can't bear to part with him, brother. My 2 children were lost because of their family. I won't let him off easily. Divorce is too lenient for him. He should pay with his life. I stepped down from the carriage, holding the imperial edict given to me by the emperor. At the entrance of the princess's residence, a figure blocked outside the door rushed over upon seeing me. Jiang Susu. How dare you treat my brother like this? Release Menglan immediately. The person was none other than Fong Yijing's younger sister, Fong Yuning. Honestly, I've been to many places, but I've never met someone like Jiang Susu. She seems to attract trouble like a magnet. A scoundrel husband, a vicious mother-in-law, a troublesome sister-in-law, she's got them all. Before I could speak, Shishu had already taken action. How dare you? You dare to call the Grand Princess by her name. With a slap, Fong Yuning was knocked to the ground. She held her face, looking at me in disbelief, unable to react for a long time. Why treat your brother this way? Because I feel like it. I bent slightly, pinching her chin. I can't release your Menglan, but I can send you in to accompany her. Would you like that? Fong Yuning snapped back to reality, screamed, and tried to rush at me. You lunatic! You broke up my brother and Menglan. I gently twisted her wrist, causing her to let out a miserable cry. Scoundrel and wretch, I didn't break them up. They're still clinging together like dogs drawn to a scent. Besides, Zhao Menglan initially despised the declining Marquis Fong and didn't want to marry Fong Yijing. Later, Fong Yijing hurriedly severed ties with the Zhao family to avoid being implicated in their treason. Jiang Susu wouldn't take the blame for that. At this point, Fong Yuning couldn't care less about speaking for her brother and Zhao Menglan. She cried and cursed like a madwoman. My hand, how dare you break my hand? I chuckled softly. I dare to kill, you know. But killing is boring. Torturing is more fun. Break her bones one by one, snap her fingers, and finally, stuff her remaining body into a jar. Ah. Ah. Fear gradually filled her eyes as she looked at me like I was a demon. I smiled with satisfaction. A decorative pillow, scared to madness, wouldn't be fun. By the way, don't say I didn't protect you. Slapping the Grand Princess, that slap might dig up your Marquis Fong's ancestral grave. I'm kind-hearted, so you'll kneel here for 2 hours. Also, I haven't divorced your brother. Since your mother and brother won't teach you manners, I'll send someone to teach you. Lest you behave like a vulgar village woman and disgrace my princess's residence. I bent slightly, gently patting her face, speaking in a haunting tone. The nanny from the teaching hall isn't easy to invite. Try running, if you dare. 2 days later, Fang Yijing was still bedridden, unable to move, and could only send someone to the princess's residence to ask for her. The result was that the guards at the entrance broke his leg and threw him out. When the guards reported at the entrance, Fang Yuning was trembling and kneeling before me. I've invited the best teaching nanny for you. You say you won't learn? It's only been 2 days. You probably can't graduate yet. Only 2 days, I casually toyed with my fingers. Your Highness, please spare me. I won't dare anymore. Fang Yuning's head hit the ground with a bang. And in these 2 days, she hadn't eaten a bite or drunk a drop of water. If she didn't perform the rites well, she'd starve. If she fainted from hunger, they'd splash her awake with water. And the nanny used sinister tricks against her. Silver needles pierced her body without leaving a wound, yet the pain was unbearable. And then, there was the rumored human swine. Come, show me a courtesy. I raised an eyebrow, speaking casually, as if calling a little dog. Fang Yuning crawled over, trembling, and performed a grand courtesy. It seems this teaching nanny is quite good. Just in time, your brother sent someone to fetch you. You can take her back to your residence. She can guide you in the future. Seeing Fang Yuning's face turn pale, I smiled with amusement. Don't worry, I have a gift for you. Back along with Fang Yuning. The imperial edict given to me by the emperor a few days ago was sent to the Marquis Fang. The Marquis Fang was stripped of its title. When the Marquis Fang died, the emperor didn't allow Fang Yijing to inherit the title. He was always just the heir. Now, he's not even the heir, just a commoner. I heard that the old lady of the Fang family, bedridden, vomited blood and fainted upon hearing the news. I lightly tapped my fingers on the table, waiting for news from that side. Sure enough, it wasn't long before Fang Yijing sent someone to fetch medicine. I curled my lips, stood up, and straightened my skirt. Let's go to the Fang residence and have a look. The guards at Marquis Fang's residence saw me and didn't even dare to stop me. I always felt coming to this Marquis Fang's residence dirted my feet. Unexpectedly, as soon as I entered, I saw Fang Yijing standing in the courtyard. What bad luck! It's like bad luck opened the door to more bad luck, truly unlucky. Fang Yijing saw me, his eyes lit up, and despite his injuries, he limped over quickly. Where's the medicine? I raised an eyebrow. What medicine? The medicine that the doctor has always prescribed, the Vitex and Sichuan Teasel. They've always been sent from the princess's residence. Fang Yijing's tone was urgent. Quickly bring it out. Mother is in critical condition. If she's in critical condition, isn't it better to let her die? I said calmly. What did you say? Fang Yijing's face changed, surprised by my cruel words. She's your mother too. It's laughable, when that venomous old woman forced Jiang Susu to miscarry. Did she ever consider that she was also Jiang Susu's mother-in-law? Don't try to claim kinship with me, does she deserve it? I sneered, extending a finger to push Fang Yijing, making him stagger. My mother is the late Empress Dowager, now resting in the late Emperor's tomb. Being my mother wouldn't shorten her lifespan. Oh, wait, she's already dying, so there's no lifespan to shorten. Jiang Susu. Fang Yijing was furious, rushing to attack me, but was kicked in the chest by a nearby secret guard. I glanced lightly. Keep an eye on him, wait for me to come out. Inside the old woman's room, people were gathered. And the first to see me wasn't Fang Yuning, but Nanny Li beside the old woman. Your mother-in-law is gravely ill, why does the princess come so late? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Quickly bring the medicine. Nanny Li frowned and reached out to me. I chuckled lightly. Fang Yuning turned around and saw the situation, immediately understanding. Her face turned pale, and her body started to tremble. Nanny, your words imply that I didn't know the master of this room was gone. And it's a servant's turn to point fingers at me. Nanny Li, the most loyal dog beside the old woman. Fang Yijing didn't like Jiang Susu, and the old woman insisted on suppressing Jiang Susu, the noble princess, to show her prowess. How many times did this old thing come up with ideas to make things difficult for Jiang Susu? Nanny Li's face slightly changed. Princess, your words are somewhat harsh. Bold. Dare to talk back to Her Highness. Shishu shouted angrily. In this room, the young ones don't know better, but even the old ones don't know better. Someone, slap her, teach Nanny Li what respect and inferiority mean. Nanny Li's face changed, and before she could speak, the teaching nanny behind Fang Yuning stepped forward. One pressed Nanny Li to kneel, and the other swung her arm, slapping her left and right. A series of loud slapping sounds echoed. Princess, treating mother-in-law like this, not saving her, aren't you afraid of being criticized? Nanny Li's cheeks swelled from the beating, blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. Yet she still had the strength to accuse me intermittently. I suddenly turned my head, my gaze cold. That medicine is needed by His Majesty, I sent it to him. Nanny Li, are you implying that this old hag's life is more important than the emperor's? What a noble Fang family! Nanny Li panicked immediately. No, no, the servant wouldn't dare, the servant wouldn't dare. Your Highness, don't misinterpret the servant's words. Nanny Li, it's good you know you're a servant. I waved my hand. Someone, Nanny Li has shown disrespect to the royal family, drag her out, beat her to death. As the screams in the courtyard gradually faded, Fang Yuning trembled and suddenly collapsed to the ground, dragged away by two nannies. I walked towards the bed, where the old woman's eyelids lightly twitched. Such a loud noise didn't wake the old lady. Could she have died in bed? Shishu, go find some guards to carry the old lady to the coffin. As soon as I finished speaking, the old woman opened her eyes with a face full of bitterness. You. I leisurely pinched the finger sleeve. Lady Fang, be careful with your words, otherwise your old servant might soon be serving you down below. Even if you are a princess, you are still part of the Fang family. How dare you lay hands on Yijing, and now show such disrespect to your mother-in-law? The old woman panted heavily, speaking quite fluently. I couldn't see any signs of poor health. It seems she hasn't been easy to kill after being nurtured by Jiang Susu's rare herbs over the years. I smiled slightly. Has the old lady never heard of the words monarch and minister? My relationship with you has always been that of monarch and minister. Do you think you're worthy of entering my Jiang family? You're not even fit to carry shoes. Thunder and rain, all are blessings from the monarch. I showed you some pity and gave you some face, and yet you took advantage of it. When Jiang Susu married Fang Yijing, it was said that his mother was in poor health and needed the rare herbs, which some have never even heard of. Even so, Jiang Susu sent people to find them, taking them from the palace and providing them monthly. The Fang family took this as their due. Now those two herbs have been sent into the palace by me. I want to see who can snatch them from the emperor, who dares to snatch them from the emperor. Lady Fang, I used to give you some face for the sake of that useless son of yours. Now that I've grown tired of him, there's no need to give you face anymore. We need to properly settle this account. Your life was saved by me casually back then. Now if you go die, it would count as repaying this favor, wouldn't it? You. The old woman stammered for a long time, unable to speak further. Suddenly collapsing onto the bed, her fingers stiffening. The old thing is getting on in years. It seems she really can't handle stress. I twitched the corner of my mouth and casually summoned a doctor kneeling on the ground. The doctor approached tremblingly, flipping the old woman's eyelids. Stroke. I chuckled softly. Old woman, you better not die before your son and daughter. There's still a good show to come. I lifted my skirt and turned gracefully, leaving behind a word. Fang Yuning's figure, crying beside the old lady's bed, suddenly trembled. In the courtyard, Fang Yijing was still being pressed to kneel on the ground by two secret guards. I signaled the guards to hang him up while taking the whip from Shiju's hand. The first whip lashed towards his lower part. If you can't control it, you might as well not have it. And recognizing a sworn sister, just to disgust people. You know, right? My first child was lost because that old hag made me stand in line for her before dawn. And then on the way back, your sister pushed me down. In the end, that old hag said it was because my body wasn't good. Mother said it was an accident. Accident my foot. I whipped him on the mouth. The second child was conceived because you, this beast, drank and did nothing human. Your little lover wrote me a letter to provoke me, and after reading it, I got agitated. My body hadn't recovered yet, and that old hag was already arranging for you to take a concubine. A consort taking a concubine? I'm really giving you face. Impossible, Menglon wouldn't do this. I have nothing with Menglon. Nothing, and she knows you have a mole down there? Did you sell yourself? I whipped him on the face again. Jiang Susu. Don't go too far. Fang Yijing's face was covered in blood marks. If it weren't for you making me your consort, how could I now be only a fifth-rank official? I laughed out of anger. Did I put a knife to your neck and force you to marry me? Afraid of being dragged down by the Zhao family. You didn't even save Zhao Menglon, whom you knew since childhood. And hurriedly ran to kneel before me to pledge loyalty. Wasn't that you, this dog? Do you really think you're something special? Do you think you have the skills to be a fifth-rank official? That rank was given by the emperor in consideration of my status. With each sentence, I whipped him. But I knew my anger at this moment was not only because of Fang Yijing, but also because Jiang Susu indeed thought this way. Her childhood with Jiang Yang was not happy, so she was used to pleasing others. The imprint of childhood is hard to erase. Even when she later became the only grand princess of the dynasty, especially since she loved Fang Yijing deeply. A consort not entering officialdom. She felt she had delayed Fang Yijing's future, enduring repeatedly, only to be taken advantage of. But it wasn't her fault. Love is precious, those who trample it are at fault. Fang Yijing was visibly dazed. This is impossible. I raised the whip again. Impossible? Do you know, when the emperor established the crown prince? The first person he asked wasn't the ministers, but the Grand Princess Susu standing before you. You really underestimate my abilities. If it weren't for my advice to the emperor, you, a declining marquis heir, with no achievements in literature or martial arts, would you deserve to be my consort? Could you uphold the honor of the Marquis Fang residence? Fang Yijing was in despair. Even you see me this way? You said you truly liked me, but in your eyes, I'm just a worthless waste? Aren't you? Fang Yijing, aren't you a waste? As for true feelings, do you deserve my true feelings? I raised a dog for 3 years, it knows to wag its tail at me. Would you, Fang Yijing, wag your tail? My hand was numb from whipping. I threw the whip on the ground with a cold laugh. To catch my eye, your Fang family should be praying and chanting. Since you claim to be a talent thwarted, let's see if it's really as you say, that I blocked your career path. I hope next time we meet, Lord Fang, you won't wag your tail at me. After making a big scene, I left the Fang family with my people, arrogant and proud. In the carriage, I touched the bracelet which had faded a bit in color, speaking with confusion. Did Fang Yijing save your life? The jade bracelet shimmered slightly, its color gradually dimming. At night, the person I sent to keep an eye on Fang Yuning returned with news, saying that Fang Yuning had secretly put the medicine I gave her during the day into Fang Yijing's tea. I understood, and was not surprised at all. Human nature is just like that. After that day, I temporarily left the capital, not for any other reason. After Jiang Susu's death, Fang Yijing became Lord Lu's man, intending to seize power and usurp the throne. Lord Lu is Jiang Susu and the emperor's uncle. Although these two useless fools together are just a bigger fool, one cannot be too careful. A month later, I returned to the capital with evidence of Lord Lu's intention to rebel. The emperor was furious, and the entire faction of Lord Lu was executed. Not only that, Zhao Menglon also died in prison. Those officials who lost their positions because of Zhao Menglon had long hated Zhao Menglon and Fang Yijing, and had given instructions to the people in the prison. Zhao Menglon died with unresolved grievances, even calling out Jiang Susu's name before her death. It was said that she kept sending messages from prison, begging Fang Yijing to save her, even pleading with the patrons she had once served at the entertainment bureau. But when the wall falls, everyone pushes it. Fang Yijing couldn't even take care of himself, let alone remember his childhood sweetheart. Thinking about the medicine I gave Fang Yuning, it seems to be taking effect. I sent someone to deliver messages to the brother and sister. Fong Yijing arrived reeking of alcohol, presumably just coming from a brothel, but his eyes were bright. Susu, you still can't let go of me, can you? Where have you been this past month? I really know I was wrong. I was quite disgusted and told him to stand further away. I have already said, don't wag your tail at me when we meet. You didn't learn this in 3 years, how did you suddenly learn it in a month? I sized him up, implying, it seems the wounds on your body are all healed. A trace of resentment flashed in his eyes, quickly disappearing, his voice bitter. You're taking revenge on me, aren't you? This month, he was stripped of his title by the emperor, lost his official position. And his mother had a stroke. Those who once praised his literary talent no longer wanted to see him. Even the girls in the brothel said he was like a stray dog. I'm just helping you recognize your own worth. Besides, wasn't all this what he had once done to Jiang Susu? Cold violence, suppression, watching indifferently as Jiang Susu was humiliated by others. Now, all of this is just one word, retribution. Retribution sent to him by Jiang Susu from hell. But today, I'm not here to listen to your nonsense. I'm here to show you a good show. I snapped my fingers, and the secret guards came in, blocking Fong Yijing's mouth in disbelief and tying him up like a dumpling, then throwing him behind the screen. At the same time, someone carefully knocked on the door of the elegant room. Seeing the newcomer's actions, I couldn't help but chuckle softly. Miss Fong, your manners have improved significantly compared to a month ago, like night and day. Fong Yuning trembled as she knelt on the ground, a look of embarrassment crossing her face. I've done as your highness instructed, please spare me. Over the past month, she had come to realize that. No matter the prestige of Marquis Fong or the Fong family, they were merely pawns of the royal family. When favored by the royals, everyone fawns over them. When discarded, they are worth less than roadside trash. Miss Fong, that's quite amusing. Did I instruct you to do anything? Fong Yuning was taken aback and hurriedly spoke. You did. You told me to put the medicine in my brother's cup. I really did it, and now my brother has contracted syphilis. You can't go back on your word, you said it. Behind the screen, Fong Yijing was furious, his face twisted in madness. Fong Yuning. I am your brother. How dare you? How dare you poison me? Fong Yuning was startled by Fong Yijing's voice. And when the screen was pulled aside, her face turned pale instantly. Bro. Brother. It wasn't me, it was Jiang Susu, she forced me to do it. I raised an eyebrow. Miss Fong, I'm still here, how can you lie so blatantly? I merely told you to either use the medicine on Fong Yijing or on yourself. Or you could choose to tell your brother everything and plan against me together. But unexpectedly, the very night I sent you back, you used it on your brother without hesitation. It seems she was quite frightened by the incident with the human swine and the beating of Nanny Lee. I lazily got up. A dispute between siblings is not something for an outsider like me to interfere with. Before leaving, I signaled the secret guards to untie Fong Yijing. Fong Yuning, filled with terror, turned to flee but was stopped by the guards. Just as I descended the stairs, I heard Fong Yuning scream. The shopkeeper went in to see Fong Yuning's head bashed into a bloody mess, lifeless. Fong Yijing, eyes blood-red and face crazed, with blood on his hands, was caught on the spot. The incident of Fong Yijing going mad and killing his own sister caused a huge uproar in the capital. Some said Fong Yijing was driven insane by syphilis and thus acted out. Others claimed Fong Yijing's syphilis was transmitted by his sister. That they were involved in incest, leading Fong Yijing to kill his sister in a fit of rage. There were even claims that Fong Yijing, while in prison, implicated the Grand Princess, insisting a medicine bottle was given to him by the Grand Princess to poison him. However, upon inspection by the Ministry of Justice, the residue in the bottle turned out to be mere flour. No one believed the last claim, as the Grand Princess had already written a letter of divorce to Fong Yijing before leaving the capital. Though it was only revealed now. Who would bother poisoning a piece of mud underfoot? The day Fong Yijing died in prison, I changed into a red dress and went to the Fong residence. The mansion was desolate, with hardly anyone left. The old woman lay on the bed, her eyes skewed and mouth askew, unable to control her drool. And the room was filled with the stench of excrement. When she saw me, the hatred in her eyes was like two writhing venomous snakes. I fear there's no one left in this household to tell you. Your daughter is dead, killed by your own son, and your son is dead too, a life for a life. Ah, ah. She couldn't speak, nor could she move. Yet she still trembled as she struggled to point a knife from under her pillow at me. I stepped back, not wanting to be touched by anything filthy. As I left, there was a noise behind me, likely her falling off the bed, but my steps did not falter. The next day, someone from the residence sent word that the old lady had passed away last night. And when she was found, her body was already stiff. I nodded and handed the item in my hand to Shiju. As she closed the door to leave, she was still somewhat puzzled. Your Highness, when did you change to a white jade bracelet? Wasn't the previous one emerald green? Indeed, a white jade bracelet, I gently touched it. This is not a bracelet, it's a magical artifact, a soul-holding tool called the soul-calming bracelet. The first time I saw Jiang Susu was in hell. Jiang Susu's resentment was overwhelming, disturbing the entire underworld. Yet she was blessed with merit, preventing her soul from scattering. So, the king of hell found me. When I discussed this deal with Jiang Susu, she agreed without hesitation. I raised an eyebrow. You should think carefully, using your lifetime of merit for this chance at revenge. You might not have a good reincarnation next life. Either dying young or bringing misfortune to your family, destined for a lonely life. Why not drink the soup of forgetfulness and let go of all this? You've done so much good in this life, with so much merit, your next life will surely be happy and fulfilling. But Jiang Susu refused, saying she wanted to see that family receive their retribution with her own eyes. So, I made this deal with her. Her soul entered the soul-calming bracelet. And it was the first time I had seen someone with such deep resentment. Because of the dissipating resentment, the soul entered the bracelet, and the bracelet remained white. But now it was almost emerald green. Later, I came to this realm, taking her identity to avenge her. Until the news of the last person's death arrived, the bracelet turned completely white. Jiang Susu's soul floated in the air, bowing to me from afar. Thank you, Divine Lord. I nodded. Go reincarnate.